Welcome to 40 Days Till a Better You. This week's theme is patience. And when I think about patience, I'm reminded of my world history class that I took in middle school. In that class, the teacher would assign very lengthy homework assignments. And when she announced the page numbers, the many page numbers, the class would sigh and bemoan the big assignment. And she said, "What, are you afraid of words?" And it always stuck with me a little bit of being afraid of words or being able to have the patience to sit down and actually open up a book and to be able to learn something, be able to challenge ourselves and not necessarily get the spielkies to kind of want to get done with it really quickly. That's sometimes something worth doing, takes a little bit of time to sit in the chair to do it. There's a story about this. It's the origin stories of Rabbi Akiva, and it's recorded in Avot de Rabbi Natan, chapter 6, verse 2. And there, we read, "What are the origins of Rabbi Akiva? They say that he was 40 years old and had still not learned anything." And here they're really talking about anything of Jewish content. "Once he was standing at the mouth of a well, and he said, 'Who carved a hole in this stone?' They said to him, 'It is from the water which constantly falls on it, day after day.' And they said, Akiva, don't you know this from the verse?" And they quote Job 14:19, "Water erodes stone." Rabbi Akiva immediately applies this, all the more so to himself. He said, if something soft can carve something hard, then all the more so the words of Torah, which are like steel, can engrave themselves on my heart, which is but flesh and blood. He immediately went to start studying Torah. And it goes on, he meets with the school teachers with his son, and they learn the Aleph Bet. He really starts from scratch and really goes and takes the time to learn from the beginning. And I think that one of the things as we go through life, we oftentimes are looking not just for shortcuts, but our time is precious and we don't always give projects the length of time, the due diligence that they deserve. And or sometimes we don't even start the project because it is such a big undertaking that we don't really have the faith or the courage or the patience that we are going to be able to see it through to the end. And what's admirable here for Rabbi Akiva, who starts his learning at age 40, right? Oftentimes people will say you can't teach an old dog new tricks, right? He's not like a young kid who sops up and soaks up languages. He's someone who is much older, and oftentimes with adult learners, there's a little hesitancy, there's a little bit of embarrassment of being a little bit late to learn something. But I think what's very inspirational about Rabbi Akiva is he gives the patience to himself to say, you know what, a little bit every little day, like a drop of water on a hard stone surface, a little drop of Torah, which is hard itself on our soft flesh, our hearts of flesh and bone, I think really can make a big impact. So as we go into the high holiday season, I think we can look at our own Jewish learning, our own understanding of things, and maybe there's one little thing that we can add a little more patience into our own lives, and we can go and learn a little bit more. Because after all, are you scared of a little bit of words? There are 2 days until Rosh Hashanah, 11 days till Yom Kippur, 12 days until a better you. Let's make every day count.